I'm excited, beyond elated. It's going to be a great time. Hopefully everyone here sounds like they're having a good time as well. Tony, it's going to be an exciting matchup, though, because, I think for the G1 side, obviously they're looking for a little bit of redemption. They want to shock the world, if you will. And for Space Station, it's really just about getting back to where they feel like they need to be, which is right in that grand final, right in the top 3 discussion, talking about winning championships.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing matchup. Obviously G1, new squad filling in for the Boo Boo Doobu and Falcated coming over and got a lot to prove. Meanwhile, like Space Station Gaming, they've already been there, already done that. In fact, these two teams have matched up on land back at Dallas, and it was a 3-0 in favor of Space Station Gaming.
Yeah, so this team obviously has the experience going up against SSG, but the problem is that you're going up against SSG, one of the most consistent teams in all of the HCS. Hell, I'd even go as far as to say one of the most consistent teams in all of esports. It's very hard to see a team, or it's very hard to have a team that can be grand finals adjacent so many times in their lifespan as a 4-man core, and this is a tall task, right? You're asking for a couple young guns, guys who really are in a great position, both professionally as well as just as players, to go toe-to-toe against 4 of the best to play the game right now. I think very highly of the Space Station team, and it's really only going to be a matter of time before they're right back to their winning ways, getting championships, because they came so close, in Dallas. So this team really has so much going for it. G1's going to have a lot of work cut out for them, but I have no doubt that this young team is up to the task.
But who better to go up against them than the underdogs, the grinders, the one that every single time they go into any matchup, whether it's SSG, Optic, or FaZe, they know that they can win on the other side. And when the pressure is not on you, that's the best time to step up. That's the best time to show everybody what you're made of. And then they also got the secret weapon. You mentioned this before. Hoaxer's no longer teaming Eco, StelluR, and Pznguin anymore.
That's
now
right.
He's on the other side on G1. So now you have your coach that knows the opposition's team's strengths, weaknesses, everything. That was a great point that you brought up. G1 might be in the best position to upset, and it's going to start here. Game number 1, Empyrean.
All right,
Capture the flag.
Let's see how this works out, Tony. It's going to be quite fascinating to see how Space Station Gaming are really going to be able to show up, and really prove to everyone that's like this match could very well just be a speed bump for them. On the other side, though, and you were so right about this one, Tony, G1, at this point, everything, the pressure has to feel off you. At this point, you are just going into this playing with that house money and just taking full advantage of the fact that you are being given an opportunity to go up against one of the best teams in the game, and you can actually win this damn thing. So it's going to be CTF. We don't know the way that this whole thing, the way the cookie crumbles on this one, folks. But if you're watching for the first time, first 5 flag caps wins the game straight up, plain and simple. It's a core map. If you haven't watched in a long time, don't worry. This is basically Pit, just purple and very pretty. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Space Station Gaming are really going to be able to get these opening gambits here and establish themselves early on against G1. And out of the break, one of my favorite players already is going to be going for that snipe at StelluR. And they're looking to get right into the sword room here. But I love the reads that we're seeing from G1, really preventing them from being able to establish any kind of footing early on. But that is where you got to be careful, because StelluR could just swing out behind you and catch you from off guard. And it was a good attempt there, I'd have to say, by G1, but Space Station read that one very well. Now they have both snipers available to them as soon as the game starts, Tony. That's a lot of control.
StelluR's one of your favorite players and one of the most consistent players in the game, but Pznguin is the X factor, and you're already seeing him put in work with the sniper. No scope to the BR, already starting that flagpole, but has the awareness to back down, slow it down, work those spawns. They may just need another round of slays.
Pznguin getting pressured here. You can see where the spawns are going to be coming from the courtyard. So this is the right response that Pznguin's making, rather than trying to go toe-to-toe in that particular fight. But very well done by G1, just to try and recover out of that whole fight there. Hold back Space Station as much as possible, but try as you might. You can see that there, right? That was a smart play. Go for the challenge on green. Force his player to have to go back. But the problem is that StelluR with a sniper rifle, and they established both of those guns early on in this one, really just showed ramifications there and kind of stalls things out.
Oftentimes, when we talk about complementing a team's objective defense, we usually talk about Space Station Gaming, but the way that they were poised to pull that flag through long haul, and then we got the chance to see G1's objective defense, it was one to get SSG SSG right off their side, but you gotta do it more than once. Here come SSG. They have a man advantage once again.
Neuronical gets picked off down low there. Of course, he was going to fall victim to Bound regardless. You can kind of see already where this, where the game plan for Spacestation is here, right? Get control of the courtyard, really just try and force those spawns on the opposite side so that this way they can start to make these flag pulls happen, right? Just little by little begin to march through the opponent's base so that this way you can get those round of slays. You see where StelluR is going to be positioned as well. It's going to be a lot of pressure being put on him here, and Pznguin doing a great job just pulling this attention away. That is now going to be an attempted flag pull here, but look at the way that Swish has pushed himself right on top of this east tower here. The problem is that he's going to need to get in front of this as soon as possible. Teammates are throwing gunfire forward. Eco, great cover there as well to just try and prevent that player. Now it's going to be really left up to Neuronical to try and make this stop happen here, but instead it's going to be coming from Huss over toward training. Just a good heads-up play, really just to put that pressure onto Spacestation, bring that flag back potentially.
Way back in Halo 3 on Pit, you used to always see those flags run through the long haul side. Even going into Halo Infinite, the same thing here on Empyrean, but SSG have been one of the ones to change up the meta and start running it toward the training side, and now with the counter pull coming in for gamers first, Neuronical with the overshield, we see another flag moving over toward that training side. He has to deal with two.
Excellent
in
movement.
fact, gonna go right up. Love this play by Neuronical. Now you have another one in front of you, bound down to one shot. Neuronical doing everything he can to stay alive. Finally, the grenade and everybody else coming in for SSG. We see more objective defense coming in. Nobody able to get that flag past the 50% portion of the map.
Ooh, and you got to also give credit in that. Oh, my word, Bound. All right, let's relax there for a minute, Poppy. Okay, you got to give credit where credit is due there to Spacestation Gaming, because you're seeing Neuronical basically just pull off like a Indiana Jones type of stay alive situation. But meanwhile, you had members like Pznguin, Bound, pushing beyond where Neuronical was just to try and get in front of G1 so that Neuronical couldn't get that kind of support. That allows them to be able to essentially reset the map where they are right now. So where Spacestation is, another great position, but I do give G1 all the credit in the world for reading this one. They know what they want to do, and they're stopping them in their tracks, Tony. That says a lot about the preparation that this G1 team has put in, and you know Hoaxer's in the back yelling at them, telling them, guys, pay attention to that tower. Do not let them get possession of that area.
They say the two best abilities you can have in esports is availability and adaptability, and G1 have been able to adapt to every single one of Spacestation Gaming's offensive pushes. Precision trading out his life with that heat wave over toward the sword side. Neuronical fighting for his life out of the Mauler side of the map, able to not only get that kill, but that's going to secure the reset, and hopefully G1 can convert that defense into some offense and get once again the SSG's base.
Of course, SSG really fighting for one another here. Good to see Eco, you know, with a decent amount of assists there, always just being a person that's like in the fray, right? In the fight. And that's why you're also seeing the way that players like Pznguin and them, they have no problem stalling out in the middle here, right? They'll let G1 kind of take the onus, make that first move, because they know that they can at least get the response. But pay attention, though. You saw it briefly at the bottom of your screen. Yeah, that OS is going to be coming up in a moment's notice here, and Spacestation is playing for this here. You have no real equipment for Neuronical, but what you do have, I was going to say, you do have at the very least the height. And they do get themselves the rocket to boot as well. So they get a lot out of that one here. Oh, man, the repulsor sent back the rocket. That could have been real bad for Precision. He's going to just try and get that flag out of there toward the green inside of the no man's land area. Pznguin trying to stay alive, though. Now look at Eco around the corner. They have so much support, and you kind of just feel a little bit there for G1 because there really wasn't much of a good opportunity there, Tony, for them to get that flag out, especially with OS looking right at them.
Spacestation Gaming were able to get away with that overshield, but G1 got the rockets and were able to turn that to the first pull, but Spacestation stopped that flag pull, and now we're seeing a counter come in, Bound having that flag so close toward the long haul side, but you see both Swish and Neuronical with their two-pronged attack. Now a third one comes in. G1 overwhelmed that side right off of spawn. Looks like that flag is going nowhere.
Yeah, look at the help, too, that, you know, G1 is giving themselves here, right off of the spawns, understanding that they're going to get pinned from their green, so they just needed to just stay up for as long as they possibly could and get that re, which they do manage to obtain. That being said, though, you know, Tony, we're right back to the drawing board here, and this is really where I I actually feel really good about G1 because if they're going toe-to-toe against the Space Station team and really not giving them much quarter to work with here, I actually think G1 could very well pull this one off, but big plays like that from StelluR. Thankfully, Swish was there and Huss was there for the pickup. But yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from G1 thus far.
And not only going toe-to-toe with them, but also slay for slay. The slays are about even on each side. I said it before, G1 do not fear Space Station Gaming. They want to go at them. They want to be competitive. But with Pznguin and Eco getting back-to-back kills, Eco now sitting over toward the training side with this sniper. This can be dangerous for G1.
Like that position from Precision. Precision for precision. Man, say that 5 times fast. English is a very hard language for me to learn, you wouldn't know. But that right there is just a good example of like just playing your life, playing information if you can. Even though they do manage to get that tower control, it's still coming off of a lot of labor that we're seeing from Space Station, but that was just a clean shot there for Miko that's actually going to open things up. You can see the 3 members of G1 kind of all cuddling up inside of the base here. Huss is going to be going up against Eco, sliding right in there, and that is going to be a clean kill, and he's going to come out of that with just under half shields remaining. The pressure, though, coming from the courtyard, and just look at the repositioning that we're seeing from Eco, and the help that he's getting as well with the drop wall, too. This could very well be a good flag run here for Space Station, but we got to see how the response is going to be for G1.
You did say the English is a tough language. One phrase that goes across every language is flag pull. That means you got to do something to stop it. And it looks like right over toward the exit on that long haul side, G1 once again stopped that flag short. That's no cap, no kizzy, no... isn't that the kids say?
Allegedly so. I'm 35.
On Bound, on Renegade, I don't know. Someone.
Yeah. You know, between this and the other game I work, it's just too many phrases for me to keep up with, damn it. But in any case, though, what isn't hard to understand is what's going on over toward the blue side of the map here. An attempted flag pull is being made by Space Station. 2 members of G1 are going to be circling around inside of the base here. Eco's going to go down. The calls have been made, and StelluR's just trying to see if he can contribute any way he can, but this is going to potentially open up an opportunity here for G1, but just as I say that, it's going to get stuffed, and that is going to be Space Station with yet another stop, and we're right back where we started. 0-0, 3 minutes on the clock, a closely contested battle between these two teams.
And we got to give a shout out to Eco, who puts his 20th kill on the board. 8 assists to go along with it. Normally the IG out, normally sitting behind his teammates, but now he's on the front lines, putting in that work, leading with the slays. But wow, as I say that, Swish gets a big kill, puts Space Station 3 down, and now it's G1's turn to get onto the base of SSG.
All right, this is where you got to start making magic happen here. You were able to get 4 down now. You have them backs against the wall. This is where you have to get that next round of slays. What is your positioning here? What is the game plan for G1 to try and prevent these members of Space Station from being able to recover off of this spawn? They get 3 down again. This is the perfect situation you could possibly ask for, Tony, for G1.
Back-to-back 3 downs for G1. They are getting aggressive here. Precision just waiting. Another round of slays, and that's going to spell good night for Space Station, especially with only 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. This next cap may be it. And with the 360 AR, his name is Precision, but he's using an automatic weapon. What's going on
there?
Whatever
gets the job done, gets the job done. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like Precision's doing just that as he's brought this flag across. He's over toward long haul, and this is looking great thus far. Even though he's going to drop that pull there, it's perfectly fine because he's got the coverage and they got the flag, and G1 is on the board. Wow, that was a beautiful display of how you control the map and you completely suffocate your opponent to get that flag cap with 1:45 left.
G1 looking to pull off the upset here, and now they're really starting to feel themselves, going for those high risk, high reward, long range rocket from Huss over toward the tower side. Now Precision getting aggressive, putting the killing spree with the sniper, and somehow Swish just taking his time, making sure that SSG don't get their numbers and get too aggressive with it, giving his team enough time to come off a spawn and to get back on the map. Now goes with the assist onto the first, gets the kill onto StelluR, long range shots onto Eco. He was the only player in position to stop SSG from getting the pull, and he's able to do it.
I mean, just even look at like the support that Neuronical was giving over toward that needler push there, right? Like Swish was in a really bad spot. He was potentially going to get into a 2v1 challenge, but there was always assistance. There's always support. They're looking out for one another, and that is a scary thing to see this late into the game from G1. Like the way that they're playing right now, slaying for one another and constantly looking at where those pushes are going to be coming from is a thing of beauty, and why I love watching high-level Halo like this. And this is going to be a last-ditch effort now. 42 seconds left on the clock here for Spacestation Gaming, and if there's a team that could pull it off to get that flag pull, Tony, it's SSG, because it looks like they're on the prowl right now.
And now it really is crunch time. G1 were doing a great job of applying pressure on SSG, alleviate that pressure and get their pull off. 26 seconds, but you still have sudden death to work with. StelluR having the awareness to drop the flag. It almost drops Neuronical right there. Luckily, teamwork comes in, bound over toward the tower side. He's one shot. Huss does damage onto the tower player, then wraps back over towards green. Both players go down. If this return comes in, Huss and G1 might have just done the upset. Game number 1 going to G1.
An incredible start here for G1, really just catching Spacestation genuinely off guard. I don't think anyone had thought this, what we were talking about last time, what the score lines were going to be between these two teams. Every time they've played against one another, the Core 4 versus the Core 4, 3-0s across the board. And I think G1 showing us that, you know, with a new cover, you know, they start to look a little bit better. And I like the fact that they have Hoaxer in the back there really keeping them focused. That is exactly what you want to see G1 put their stamp on this event. I love this. I'm all about this.
And the crazy thing to me is that not only does Spacestation Gaming 3-0, what I guess the artist formerly known as Hive, now G1, back at Dallas, but on this very game type and map combination, they 3-1 them. So they literally have played the same map and game type combination back at Dallas. They ended up winning it out, but G1, they feeling different, you know? When you get that new contract, you start moving a little different. I don't know, man. You get a little pep in your step.
Better sneakers. You know what I mean? You know? You get the business socks on, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But I'll tell you this much, though. Neuronical and Precision definitely were the stars that stepped up for me in that one. Just the fact that there was just so much help coming from both of those players. It didn't matter what the circumstances was. If there was a push coming through, chances are those players on Spacestation were going to be weakened by BR shots from either Neuronical or from Precision, because they knew that they could pretty much do what is necessary of them. Support when the time calls for it. Don't just overextend. Don't just get hungry for kills. Don't get hungry for flag caps. Play as a team. G1 did exactly that, and no one does it better than Spacestation Gaming. So to do it against SSG is quite impressive there. And, you know, I mean, again, you mentioned it before, Tony, how, like, it really wasn't a game of who's slaying more and who's popping off more. No, it was just about good, consistent teamwork, and that is exactly what we got from G1. Problem is, can they do it in Live Fire Slayer?
And they're going to have to do just that. And one thing I love about this is that throughout the scrims that they've had, throughout their matchup in Dallas, G1 and SSG have never matched up on Slayer Live Fire, at least not within the last couple of months. So this is unforeseen territory, I would say, for both of these rosters on this exact game type and map combination. And with G1 already having that momentum, I feel like they have the advantage going into this game 2 Slayer. And now we're seeing some Slayer stats on the screen. It's pretty close.
You know, when you look at the stats, right? You know, rank 5th, right? Their score margin of 2.8, a 5-4 record. You're feeling pretty good for G1 here, right? And that, of course, is when they were known as Hive. This, of course, being stats that we saw from the DreamHack Invitational, which just passed. But you got to feel pretty solid here for G1. And if you are a G1 fan, how big would a win be here for this young team that just got picked up to really establish themselves against one of the best teams in the game, in my opinion, in Spacestation Gaming?
And to be honest with you, I feel like it's not even like that far-fetched, not even like, you know, out of this realm that if you beat SSG, well, first of all, you already beat them in game number 1, so again, you're feeling confident. But number 2, SSG have the cleanest map pool probably out of all of the teams in the top 3. However, their Achilles heel has been Slayer. They literally went into the winners bracket finals in Dallas, only losing 1 game. That was a Slayer. Then in the winners bracket finals, what did they lose?
Slayer.
Both Slayers. Then going into the grand finals, what did they lose? All 3 Slayers. So I'm saying if there's any chance to catch them off guard, and historically when the underdogs have the advantage, it's
StelluR. Yeah, you got to take advantage of it. You got to play your cards right, and very well G1 can go up 2-0. Spacestation know this, though. They're not going to make this easy, and if anything, I'm expecting players like Bound to really just pop off and begin to show why he is the movement king, why he can play around in these maps and treat him like a jungle gym and just do whatever the hell he wants, because he's so good at being able to get activated in the key moments when they need it here. And you know that a player like Bound is going to be looking to do that. He has a fantastic support core that, you know, just consistently has his back. Spacestation, they just need to find those StelluR wins. If they can get it, then, well, they're looking like they could very well win a championship here. That being said, G1, I think they have another point to prove as we jump into the action now. It's going to be live fire. Map 2, G1's up 1-0, but Bound gets that sniper right out of the game. We saw how Spacestation put those snipes to good use despite the scoreline in map 1.
And with how small of a map live fire is, the one thing I'm going to be questioning when it comes to G1 is, can you out-coordinate SSG to get the likes of the sniper? Can you out-coordinate them to get the overshield, which is coming up right now? Now you have Bound staring down the barrel of you, trying to make it towards the OS. Eco right next to it. 2 players coming in. Looks like Precision's able to take down Eco, but Neuronical gets the body shot. Swish crossed the street without looking both ways. There's only one more player, and overshield grabbed. Huss was able to get away with it.
Huge to be able to use that shroud screen to just give yourself that cover, right? We see it happen a lot. It's obviously the tried and true play now, especially with that new equipment coming into the map here. And I just think that, again, it's like if G1 can continuously do this, if they can keep on picking up those key power items, the key power weapons, or keeping those power weapons from being too impactful on the side of Spacestation Gaming, they could very well be going up 2-0 here. But it is going to be a close game out of the break here. You got 8-8 in the count. There's that sidekick getting put to use, but Eco's going to be better than that. Watch out behind you, though, bud, because you got a few players on the prowl like Precision, who's always there to pick up that kill when need be. And I think as it stands right now, Tony, this is just going to continue to be a neck-and-neck game here. G1's really proven that they can box in this weight class, no problem whatsoever.
So they can. Neuronical coming in with the flank, able to take down 2 players on his way to the tower side of the map, giving G1 a momentary advantage when it comes to those numbers. Eco over towards the sandbag side, Swish sitting up on tower. All 4 members of G1 are up, and now they want to use that teamwork to push SSG on the outskirts of the map. Overshield coming up. Eco pushing over toward Dummies, takes down Swish. That should open up a lane for Spacestation to get away with the OS.
Yeah, and that is going to be a key play there to keep those power items away from the hands of G1, because if you let them just run away with it, give them an inch, they will, in fact, take a mile. But they do manage, at the very least, G1, or excuse me, Spacestation, to have that 2-kill lead. And they'll just continue to work around this here. And as StelluR continues to navigate around the map here, G1, they're really just trying to do what they can to just stay out of the sight lines of this OS and take the fights wherever they can. But the problem is that you're taking these fights against players who are more than prepared for this, and StelluR's kind of just herding them like cattle exactly where he wants them to go. That's going to net them a 5-kill lead here, which is huge for Spacestation, especially on live fire. Very, very quick map.
G1 fresh off a 3 down, and Spacestation trying to punish them off of spawn here, limit their movement, have reticles trained on them immediately, and now you see Spacestation back up and get ready for that sniper. Another round of slays going in favor of Spacestation, and now this is where you get yourself into problems. When you're trapped over towards the back A side, when StelluR is staring down with that sniper rifle, again, your movements are already limited off of spawn. SSG are manipulating where you're able to go.
Yeah, they are, but the thing is, though, the big wins were happening over toward the OS side of the map here. I really like that StelluR was just honing down on the mid area, but the problem was there wasn't a lot of support toward the green, so that ends up being a real detriment for Spacestation. They need to be careful because you cannot let this G1 team get back into the game. It's a 6-kill lead, which is huge for them. Actually, they're going to add a little bit more to that as well, make that 7-kill lead, but they really need to maintain this one as much as they possibly can. Do not give G1 those openings. This overshield could very well be that, and you're going to be leaning on Pznguin here to be the difference maker potentially with this sniper rifle.
And Pznguin already connecting with the body shot onto 2 different players.
That's
Huss
huge.
was able to steal away an overshield before, but with him being chased out of the cut side. It's not going to happen again. SSG now pulling yet another overshield, another no-scope. Finally, you're able to deal with Pznguin, but the damage clearly done. You are being out utility right now, and at this point, Spacestation are getting aggressive with it.
Yeah, now with Spacestation getting that overshield, even though it is going to get burned relatively quickly here, that's still just going to be yet another power item kept out of the hands of their opponent. Sometimes you may not be able to take full advantage of it, but if you keep it out of your opponent's possession, that is all you need to do, most times at least here. And that is just going to continue to add on. But just as we say that, though, and look at the way that G1, they're bringing this one back little by little off the double kill from Swish, could very well be the catalyst for them to get right back into this game. They're only 3 slays behind.
And this is good for G1. This was in danger going to that double digits and maybe even getting out of hand at one point.
Yep.
But like you said, G1 continue to claw their way back into an SSG. Want to try to put some separation in the scoreboard. StelluR going to be forced to try to get out, but G1 are coming off of multiple sides. Maybe a little bit of an advantageous spawn for Gamers First over toward the A side. Now Space Station, they're stuck on one side of the map.
Tied game here, Tony. That is problematic, but you have 2 players that are going to be stuck inside of green here. You also have some pretty strong weapons that are going to be on the prowl, so they do manage to pick up 2, and just like that, G1 are right back in this. They were down by 7 at one point, Tony. 7 kills, and they have clawed their way back in with big plays, removing the sniper rifle from their opponent's hands, get an overshield, just completely destroy it as soon as you possibly could. There were a lot of smart decisions being made here.
And that's a 3 down in favor of G1. You only have 1 more player to deal with, and that's going to be StelluR here on the tower side. And Huss has himself a heat wave, so he's the one being on the aggressive. He's the one chasing him out of the play. Oh, another overshield coming up. G1 cannot afford to lose yet another overshield. This is their game right now. They can go up 2-0 in the series.
They might actually end up giving it up, but if Swish is able to get the kill, which he's able to do so, it is going to be a trade out instead. Huss has a lot of work to do. 1 more in front of him, but Eco's going to get the overshield. That could maybe be a huge swing for them, as all the players are going to be spawning right in the back by the garage there.
Don't need to panic just yet. You still have a 3-kill lead, so that allows you to be able to melt this overshield.
That's
Avoid going 3 down. Only go down 2 just to get off this overshield and get an advantage, and you could still have that map control. But Eco chasing 1 down to the mid side, able to take down Neuronical. You see some more help going over towards Big Door, and that's going to be Huss.
Tied up
that ends
again.
up losing his life. Precision goes 3 down, and with Swish being the final player, SSG may just take the lead here.
Spacestation played that so well, because at that moment, player gets overshield, 4 members are just going to stay inside of the big house and just stay back, right? That was not the play to make there. And I understand why they did it, but it was also just incredibly intelligent there of the overshield player to make the calls and to tell them, make the push happen. That has led to Space Station getting this big lead here. 3 kills, only 2 remaining before they walk away and tie the series up 1-1.
Still just a 2-kill game, and as of right now, there's no more overshield in play. Eco down to 1 shot, tries to push that pole, not able to do it. Pznguin tries to get out, but he's not able to slip. It's 49-48. Space Station just need 1 more, but G1 are here.
Where are they going to get that kill? That's the question. Who's going to give up that death that will be so critical here? Could be Neuronical. They smell blood in the water there. Swish is also going to be in a really bad spot as well, as the 3 members of Space Station Gaming are looking to just push this one up here. Remember, it's a 2-kill game for G1. If they get this 1 kill here, but oh no, he's actually going to get trapped in the open, and that is going to be victory there, 50-48, and it seems as if Space Station Gaming walk away with a win at the... Man, that could have gotten real bad real quickly had they gone up 2-0 in this series, but we're all going to be knotted up 1-1.
And that's what happens when you're dealing with Space Station Gaming. It's that teamwork, that coordination, and what's the one play that gets them above? It's the simple bait and switch.
Yep.
Couple of shots out, switch out, let your teammate get the kill. That's the unselfish plays that SSG make. It doesn't matter who gets the kill. The matter is we win the game, we tie up the series, and now we're going into a swing game 3.
Yeah, and remember too, right? The onus there 100% was on G1 to have to, get some map positioning, right? Space Station basically had every lane covered at that point. So really, your only genuine shot was just to push outside over toward green, but you're still going to be trapped in no man's land underneath the pillars. Like, there just wasn't really much in the way of movement that G1 could do. So really, that was Space Station's game to lose there. And they do find that, that critical final kill there that could have very well just cost them, because in those instances too, right, you think to yourself, oh, Space Station Gaming, they have the man up, they have the, they just need to give up that or get that 1 kill. That could very well be it. But don't sleep on teams like G1 that can easily sneak out those 2 kills off of a mid push like that. So really, just the credit to G1 for trying to keep themselves in this one. What a back and forth game that was too. I mean, G1 were down at 1.7 kills, I believe, to SSG, and were able to bring this back. A massive swing for them, but also just goes to show how the veterans were able to keep themselves poised in that critical moment.
Yeah, big 15 kills come out of Pznguin right there. And to kind of piggyback off of that point that you made, it's, you know, when they had the overshield, G1 knows what SSG are going to do.
Yeah.
They're going to stack numbers. They're going to push a lane. At that point, like you said, I think G1's best option is to forget the bend but don't break strategy and go all defensive. Take space. Worst case scenario, you kill 1 or 2 players, but the other 2 are across the map. The other 2 are not in position, and now that overshield gets drained where we kind of stack the ball together.
And it's a tough area to fight out of as well, right? When you're trapped inside of that garage area, you can't really get much movement. It was just a tough one across the board for G1, but amazing for Spacestation for being able to keep their poise. Now we shift our attention, our focus over towards streets as we get ready for this King of the Hill matchup here. And as you'd mentioned before, Tony, it is going to be a big swing game here. The momentum in this series could very well shift, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what this opening push is going to be like from both of these teams here, because I think, you know, for Spacestation, they're going to try and just see if they could, you know, put players like Bound in a position to be able to maybe just go up and just charge after that at those rockets. But on the other side to that too, I want to see if G1 are prepared for that aggressive push that we could potentially be seeing at the break here, so that they can get those power weapons.
And I'm excited to watch these 2 teams go at it here on Stronghold Streets, because I was talking about the map count, and we saw 3 out of the 5 games going towards Space Station Gaming the last time these 2 teams matched up. Well, Stronghold Streets, this is one where G1 actually pulled off the win back at Scrim. So if G1 do have an opportunity to kind of steal back the momentum and maybe pull off an upset, because we know we love ourselves some upsets, it might just be here on King of the Hill Streets.
But even then, it's still a big Game 3 swing, right? And that is what you're hoping for. But here we go. We're into the action now as we start things off. Eco's going to put himself in a bit of a forward position over toward the ATM. You got Precision there is going to meet him too. Great push from Neon, though. It's actually, StelluR's able to get the kill out of that one, which is pretty big, but I think rockets were picked up. And if they were, well, that could potentially spell doom and destruction here for, I was going to say, G1. And they do manage to get at least 1 kill out of that. Watch out for that Stalker, too. It's going to be a very strong weapon to take advantage, especially in this Old Town arcade here.
Yeah, with SSG having full map control here on the arcade side, that Stalker is definitely going to help them be able to keep it, the amount of damage that it does onto a single player. If you don't sneak in the perfect kill, you at least do enough damage to allow your teammates to come in and get the rest. Eco, high IQ play, sneaks right in there to get the double kill. There's one more player being a nuisance onto arcade, but Eco has the Stalker and even has a teammate ready to have his back.
Well played there, obviously, by Spacestation. As they're holding this control, they're getting around that halfway mark here, and already out of the gate. This was the thing that I was a little bit worried about for G1. But, you know, how are you going to try and stop this push? How are you going to try and prevent Spacestation from being able to take that space early on in the game? And Spacestation met that challenge perfectly, did exactly what they needed to do, and gained significant amount of progress on this hill. And they're getting some pretty decent spawns out of this one too, right? They're all going to be grouped up over here toward Tram, and this is going to have to force back some of these players here. And if you just have that coordinated push over towards Steps as well as Red Room, as we're seeing right now, that is just going to lead to a lot of success. And that was a brilliant response from Spacestation there after losing possession of that hill from G1.
G1 were momentarily able to get the advantage onto SSG, but SSG's offense is just as good as their defense. Break the setup right back, and now G1 right back on the attack. Swish onto the music side, gets a couple of shots. Huss gets bailed out by that Shroud for just a moment, sneaks right in for the melee, but with SSG going 3 down and G1 having a decent amount of progression on this hill, Pznguin is forced to back down, go for the rockets, try to make a play, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think he wanted to try and see if he could take off that player over toward, you know, like that more like overlooked position there to just try and force back those players and give his teammates coming up the driveway a better opportunity to try and make this push happen. No one's going to be on the hill right now, but that's actually very good here for Spacestation, given that they do have that lead. They just have to try and prevent this player inside of Red's. Just, I mean, look at this. Precision just being a nuisance. Unfortunately for him, could not. But that maybe have created an opening, enough of an opening rather. But Pznguin, oh, well played, staying alive around that pillar. But he had the support there from StelluR. You were thinking that maybe that was going to work out for G1, but instead it's actually going to be Spacestation who manages to put one on the board.
Too many numbers for SSG over toward that that arcade side. G1 weren't able to deal with it, but they did out-rotate him and get the subway side control early. So now it's SSG having to be the first one to clear out G1 and trades out his life there. 2 down for each of these teams. The next kill going to be so important, and that next one goes to Spacestation Gaming. They now gain control of Subway.
Yeah, now with this anchor position here that Eco's going to be able to play, you're going to start to see some of these members of Space Station, right, just get up front, get up in their face, wait for the spawners, and that's why Eco's going to push up to the balcony over here, because he's got a teammate that's going to be coming off spawn to pick up time inside of that hill. Problem is that G1's making it a very difficult thing for them, and as a matter of fact, I may have just misspoken there. It seemed like he went to that position just to try and see if he could stop the push, because no one from Space Station was able to rotate in time due to the pressure that G1 was applying. And now G1 get possession of this back tram. That's absolutely massive for them. They just got to try and see if they can hold this down and not get too overzealous.
Both their teams have really been struggling to get any kind of full map control. The moment they get control, it seems like the offensive team right off a spawn is able to come up with the break, and it's been going back and forward literally this entire game. That obviously hill number 1 went in favor of Space Station Gaming. They just held their setup just a little bit longer. Now with this hill number 2, G1 seemingly have the advantage, and now definitely do with the Rockets. This is going to be tied up at 1 apiece. We're going to a swing hill 3, and this time it's not going PD side, it's going towards the mid-map.
And the advantage here is that you have rockets for G1. Precision has to put these to good use here. Take advantage, but instead is going to fall with them in his hands. It's going to allow Swish to be able to get them and give maybe one more kill, especially for any players that were going to be pushing up tires, maybe inside of the hill itself. But that ends up being just a pretty solid position here that G1's going to hold off for the time being. The ideal spot for them as the spawns are starting to come in and they can support from the top street like this.
Another 3 down. SSG hitting the black screen over and over again here. G1 riding that momentum from that hill 2 and already bringing it towards this hill 3, and now have a decent amount of progression, about 30% way done with this hill 3. I'm loving the way G1 are playing. They're really starting to pick it up when it matters most.
Yeah, and some might think, like, oh, why didn't Swish just continue to fight that player that pushed up onto tires? Well, no, because he had so much support over toward PD. But good on Space Station for just staying alive as long as they could, and also playing their respawns as effectively as they possibly are here. And just scouting out these players, where they're going to be positioned here. Neon Street, you also have one toward Cafe. Precision's going to get nuked by some grenades, but just as I say that, StelluR is also going to feel the brunt of the grenades there as well. But this is still a good spot for G1 to be in. They have so much progress gained in this middle hill. Space Station, they essentially have to play, and they have done this in the past, play Perfect Halo to be able to recap and regain all of that time that we saw G1 accrue in the beginning.
And this is a lot different than what we saw back at Dallas with this mid hill being the final hill in a rotation, not being as wide as it is. You can sit over towards the cut side. You can sit closer over towards the laundry side and be able to drain hill without completely exposing yourself. Now it being with the 3 hill and it being like a wider parameter of stealing the hill. So a lot different than what we saw in previous tournaments, and G1 still having the advantage.
Slightly.
StelluR coming in with the Rockets, but waste both.
Yeah, a slight advantage there, Tony. And I mean, we're talking like the thinnest of margins here that we're beginning to see. And Neuronical is going to sweep up by ATM, pick up that kill. So now what is the response here from Space Station? Off spawn, your PD side, you got 2 players that are going to be pushing up over toward arcade side. So you really want to try and you can do a pinch and apply that pressure here, but you got to do it fast. Otherwise, G1 are going to be able to pick up this point if you're not careful with it. That being said, Space Station do manage to get bodies inside of the hill. Double kill as well for Bound. Could very well lead to success here and a point on the board.
All 4 members of G1 hit the black screen once again, so this is Space Station's opportunity to steal this hill. 2 minutes on the clock. That may become a factor later on in the game. G1 are now sending numbers, body after body, and they're hitting the floor. Drowning Pool would be proud as another 4 down for G1. Space Station Gaming take control, and they move right over toward the PD side.
And they basically laid the trap for G1 in front of that hill, and then just pounced on the opportunity, and G1 gave it to them. There wasn't really much that G1 could do as well in that situation, given what the position that they were going to be in to begin with. But again, there were a lot of ways you could have played that wrong. Space Station always find a way to play it right there. Now as we shift our attention over toward the Station Square Hill, this is going to be G1 with control yet again, and Space Station on the run. But with this position, you're out in the open. You get yourself a big opportunity to try and push back into this.
Double push by G1 to clear out that PD side, and now they're just trying to deal with the perimeter players. Is G1 Bound coming in out of nowhere onto the flank with the purple street, but ends up going down. 3 members of G1 are still within the vicinity of this hill. Space Station Gaming They're not getting the kills that's necessary, and that's going to allow G1 to put even more time on the board.
Precision's going to be very vital here, and he's able to get the killing spree kill. He's got a Stalker as well as a Bulldog in the back of the base, so he's in a great spot, but he's got to stay alive, and he can't give up a dumb death here because of the weapons that he has. Issue is, though, on the other side, as you see with StelluR holding this rocket and that hill being positioned where it is, he doesn't hit the kill. Precision instead is going to put that Stalker to good use there.
That's like one of your rockets right there. I don't.
That was a GB rocket if I ever seen one.
You got to aim for the wall. Come on.
See, Puckett shoots it up into the sky. GB just shoots against the wall, and the rocket does nothing. That's how it usually works.
G1 able to tie things up 2 apiece. Minute 35 seconds on the clock. Will this next hill be the last one? At this point, whoever takes it may have the opportunity to simply play time after that.
It's going to be that Neon hill. Eco rounding out the rear there. Having a pretty solid game himself. Always the support player, always there to back up, but can obviously slay with the greatest of them whenever he needs to there. But speaking of slays, Bound picks up another double kill for the old, double kill column that he seems to have scooped up at least like 3 or 4 in this game alone here.
Bound and StelluR is really where that firepower comes in for Spacestation Gaming, and Eco and Pznguin normally being the objective players, the ones in charge of the anchoring and controlling spawns. But that pure firepower comes from Bound and StelluR, and you're seeing it right here. Bound with 19 kills, 7 assists. StelluR not too far behind, 12, 10 assists to his name. Eco coming in for the flank. He sees that Pznguin was able to trade out his life. Swish quickly trying to move in position, but Eco is not going to allow him to get away.
Nope, and while all that was going on, while Bound was playing his life, staying alive there, that led to that 3rd point. And Tony, you had mentioned before that this could very well be going to 3. I don't know, not with the way that this is playing out. I think Spacestation are going to look to try and end it here. Perhaps G1 running out of gas in this Streets King of the Hill matchup, potentially, but we're going right back over to that Arcade Hill. We'll see how they play around this here, and they gotta get these rockets, G1. They have to prevent Spacestation from getting control of this, and that's exactly what they do. Perhaps they could use this to their advantage.
Yeah, with a minute and 14 seconds on the clock, your first goal has to be to try to win as far as score, and then you kind of feel it out from there. It depends how many times it takes in order for you to break that setup, how many times it takes for you to get that control, and if it takes long enough, maybe you play time, but as of right now, they're thinking about ending this right here. Last time it was G1 that won 4-2 on this very map and game type combination. SSG are looking to change history.
That's going to be a double kill for StelluR, and that is the worst possible time for that double kill to come through there. Unfortunately for them, for G1, Spacestation, they have great control. They have good positioning. They have a player over toward Tram, over toward Stalker Rifle to stop any pushes that could be coming from the steps. And really, at this point, you're just trying to prevent any movement toward tires and also coming from the PD side. A lot of work here is going to be left up to Pznguin to just try and suss out where these players are going to be positioned. He does manage to find one of them, though. The 2 players down, as a matter of fact, for G1 in their favor. That's 3 down for Spacestation Gaming. Quite problematic here, Tony, potentially, if Spacestation can't recover.
And G1 have to take advantage of these numbers. They have to not only be able to take the lead, but get, if not winning this hill, at least as close to winning as humanly possible. Do not allow SSG right back in, because time is once again winding down. We're down to 39 seconds. Yep. SSG are going to put G1 between a rock and a hard place. That's the scoreboard and the shot clock.
Very well said, and that is just going to put more pressure on G1. How does this team deal with that pressure? We know how Spacestation are able to deal with it time and time again. It's time to see what G1, this young team, is going to be made of here, as 3 players are going to be inside of the arcade. Pznguin patrolling towards steps. That's a clean kill for him. That's going to keep him at least relatively healthy going into this. And with only 17 seconds on the clock, there's no reason really for Spacestation to get on top of that hill. They could just let this one end out right here, right now. And that is exactly what they're going to do. Zip it up, wrap it up, whatever you want to say. But that is basically at 5 seconds remaining, and we are going to see Spacestation go up 2-1 in this series. A valiant effort and a hard-fought battle, by G1. But the day does belong, at the very least, here on Streets King of the Hill for SSG.
SSG coming out with the big win. King of the Hill. It's tough. It can swing both ways, and it's all about that momentum. It's all about being able to give up that control, give up that pacing to set up for the next hill, and really trying to be one step ahead of your opponents at every single turn. In that game, it was Spacestation Gaming that were always 1, if not 2 steps ahead of G1.
Yeah, they basically had the playbook open, available, And they were like, "Here, go ahead, read it. We'll just show you how to do this right here." And then that's exactly what they did. Spacestation, very clean finish for them there, right? You kind of want that going into this next map, because to have to really just be able to like establish yourself, just be like, you know what, we'll just go ahead and outslay them. We'll keep them out of this one. We don't really need to like go too hard here. You were right, Tony. It did end up to 3 in time, and it just really, you go back to that Neon Hill and just how quickly the SSG boys were able to wrap that one up. And that was effectively the game there. And that just came off of really just SSG staying alive inside of that hill in critical moments. That is what makes this team so damn deadly.
Spacestation Gaming, we never really questioned them when it comes to objective efficiency, you know. So when it came to this series,
this one too is nuts.
Really wanted to see G1 take advantage of the Slayer, because going into King of the Hill, you knew this might happen. Now going into a game number 4, you're going to see another objective where, let's be honest, Spacestation Gaming have that advantage once again. So it's gonna be tough, but G1, you're here. You knew it was going to be tough. You ain't knew it was going to be easy.
And really, I mean, look, outside of like a few, instances, like you still had players like Precision, for example, just snapping, right, on the server. Exactly what you want to see. He's been having a pretty, darn good series so far. But what you also want to see happen here is like in those critical moments, in those Neon Hills where, Spacestation are just running away with it, it then becomes a question of like, what is your response after the fact? And after the fact, it kind of just felt like, throw bodies at the problem. I know that wasn't necessarily what they wanted to do, but that is essentially how it came across, right? They didn't really have much in the way of a solution there, because Spacestation were taking all of the solutions away from them. But we go over to Live Fire Oddball, and, given how Neuronical's playing this game, how Precision's playing this game, I feel like you just get those guys in a position to be able to prevent any kind of forward momentum here for Spacestation. We could very well be going to a Game 5.
We could, but at the same time, this is not Imperial. This is not a large map. When it comes to streets, when it comes to live fire, these are smaller maps, more punishing maps. And I think maps that really favor teams like SSG that have an advanced understanding of how to control the pace. When it comes to this, I'm gonna look towards the X factors, especially when it comes to Oddball, Pznguin, Neuronical, 2 of the X factors on both of the teams here. What are these stats telling you? Yeah,
I mean, what it's telling me here is that obviously Pznguin, his kill contribution, absolutely absurd, right? But also just the fact that he's able to just be as effective with the objective as he possibly can, right? And that is really going to be a thing where you're going to look at G1 and you're going to say like, okay, who's going to be the person that's picking up the dirty work? But also like when things start to fall apart, can one of those Slayers take a step back and also contribute to that as well? Because we know that Spacestation could do that at any point in time. All 4 of these players have no problem dropping the sniper for their teammate, or taking possession of the objective, because they know that they have the confidence in their teammates to be able to go and get those kills in the forward positions. Can G1 do the same thing? That is a question that's on my mind, and that question is going to be answered as we get ready for Live Fire Oddball.
Whoa, this could be the final map of the series here. It's Oddball on Live Fire. SSG looking to end this quick. G1, 1 game away from sending us into a Game 5, and we already saw 1 on broadcast. I want to see Game 5s again, so we'll see what happens here. Either way, you got the overshield over towards that right-hand side of the map, going to be so important. It comes off on a little bit of a delay, so it's going to take some time for both of these teams to get the slates, get the control, and then play for that overshield where Sniper, it's up right off the rip.
Yeah, right back into the action we go here. Still starting to happen on the outside. Hate to see the new combo not work out for you there, buddy. But that is sometimes how the cookie crumbles, and the ball's going to get grabbed and be brought right back in. But watch out, though. Power items are going to become available here. Clean shot from Pznguin is going to force that player back. Also a second shot there as well. And sometimes you don't even need to get the headshot. Body shot's going to be more than enough to just stop that player from pushing forward. And the overshield has been grabbed by Bound, which means he is going to be on the hunt. He's got himself a little extra shield. He's going to take advantage of it.
G1 not having enough bodies near that overshield side of the map, so they prioritize getting that ball and getting a bit of cheeky time in with that ball played. Now it really favors Spacestation Gaming, because Bound still having a little bit of this overshield left. They're trying to play keep away with that ball, but Bound is on the hunt.
Yeah, and also Spacestation were ready for that, but just as I say that, Precision with a massive double kill is going to give him tower control. Ball's going to be right in front of him. Now, you only had that 1 shot with that snipe, and he was able to get that 1 player body shot low. also and a double kill for Precision as well, as he continues to show why he has been a big factor in this series. You talked about Neuronical, but also Precision has had a great game thus far.
Yeah, Precision plays a very simple game.
Yeah.
Get a lot of kills. Give me the power weapons. I'm going to outshoot everyone on the map. The former Gears of War player puts in that work, even in Halo. We saw the man, he dropped 32 kills last game. Meanwhile, the leading Slayer in SSG was at 22. He had 10 kills over the leading Slayer in SSG, but will the slays be enough?
And also, too, I mean, you talk about him being a Gears of War player, and I also want to, commend him for just the smarts that we're seeing in the server right now, right? We're seeing a lot of, like great decisions being made. Yeah, sure, can he just go and out-frag a whole bunch of people? He totally can, but I think it just goes to show like the amount of work that they've been putting into this one here. Unfortunately, though, that work isn't going to be enough, as Eco does manage to pick up that overshield. Another one grabbed, but it is going to get neutralized right away, which is even more effective, at the very least, for G1.
Yeah, the last time these two matched up here on Livefire, they were allowing SSG to get away with multiple overshields and allowing them to be efficient and effective on the map. Now, like you said, they're neutralizing them at every single corner. Precision able to get the killing spree with the heat wave, puts in some more damage, backs down quick for his teammate to come in for that bait and switch. And once again, G1 have the numbers advantage, and now it's a 41-14 lead.
I like this. I was going to say playing low here, right? Knowing exactly where the pushes are going to come. And those players, as they drop down on the platform and just way to play the life there. As those players come down, they are going to get peppered with shots, which is going to just open things up for Precision here, who has 12 kills as it stands. Big win there for Huss. Even though he's going to fall there, you've removed Bound from the equation. And that ball, though, will go over to Spacestation's hands. But we're going to have to wait and see what the response is going to be here for G1, as they are looking to maybe get an opening. They got 2 players down for Spacestation, so that make that 3 as soon as he comes down. Precision's just gonna cap him with the snipe, and we are right back where we started with G1 possession of the ball, and now they're even in an even better position than they were in the first time.
I swear, Precision wasn't even aiming at him with the sniper. I swear he dropped out while he got the aim assist on another player, and somehow ends up working out for him. And now Swish having a turn with the S7, another 3 down for Space Station Gaming. And with that 3 down, G1 are allowed to not only take space on the map, but continue to put valuable ball time as well. But Pznguin kind of making plays. Despite being all by himself, he's actually taking 2 down, make it 3. Pznguin gets 3 kills in a row.
Yeah, that was great to just force that player back, but if Swish is able to be the X factor here and just force these players to have to just give up a lot of shields in order to just get possession of this ball, that is exactly what ends up happening, though. Some players are going to be off of the respawn, though, for the support. No one was there from G1 really to just respond with the damage that Swish was applying there. That being said, though, Bound another overshield in hand, yet another overshield grab for Space Station, by the way. That is a problem that G1 are going to need to correct in this one, because you have a few more of those overshields that are going to be popping up, and you can't keep giving them up to Space Station like that. Kudos to them for always being in that prime position to get that power item.
Bound and SSG doing the best
no shot.
Chance to get the try to clear the tower side, and looks like they might have been able to do it. G1 did end up going 2 down, but that ball does end up being played. SSG almost was able to clear out the C side of the map before that ball gets played, and that could have been devastating for G1, but we're right back on the reset, and SSG are right back on the control.
Pznguin top mid knows exactly what the plan is here. Get that ball and bring it over to tower side, right? Obviously, if you hold it over toward the mud, it's going to be even harder for your opponent to get over here, right? Given where this position is. So you're really going to have to be running out in the open either way to just try and force his player back here. And Pznguin's smart enough to know that he could just go ahead and scoop up a little bit more of this time, maybe a few more seconds here, and then dump that ball off, which he does do so after getting stuck. But at the very least, they were able to get a few more points on the board and just put that pressure right back on the G1 to have to respond to get that ball possession.
And G1 are continuing to apply pressure onto SSG. Advantage once again. That's going to allow G1 to get first hands on this ball, but Swish has to trade out his life right there. G1 still having the opportunity to grab a hold of the ball, but just nobody quite in position just yet. Precision finally gets there. He's going to grab himself a heat wave first, though.
Now pay attention to where that overshield is coming up again. Surely Space Station is not just going to go and scoop up yet another overshield. That would be quite problematic for G1. And you would have to imagine that if that overshield goes in the hands of G1, with how they're playing this first round of live fire ball, they would feel pretty damn good about it. But instead, it's going to be Pznguin who gets it again. So yet another Space Station overshield is going to send G1 packing.
But G1 still have the advantage and still have the ball.
That's true.
69 points in counting now for G1, and they're controlling the tower side of the map. Space Station Gaming have to break the setup. Pznguin immediately taking height onto the tower side. Looks like that ball might be played a bit early, but that allows G1 the opportunity to put down damage here.
Yeah, and that is going to force that ball back and back into the hands of Space Station, as they'll just continue to rack up some more time. The push is going to be coming over toward the overshield side of the map. As you can see, all 4 players are going to be spawning over toward the screens and then trying to make their push out here, but they cannot give up any bodies. This is a huge play that just happened there. Precision jumping into the action, giving Swish that ball, and they get to play that one. It looked like things were going to be cooking for Space Station, but just a massive heads-up play to just open things up and force them back. It's going to have to just send Space Station reeling again to try and get some more control on this map.
G1 have done such a good time of scrapping away at that ball time, getting a few seconds here, playing the ball, and doing that over and over again. But now SSG having a great hold right now, but with just 26 seconds on the clock, SSG might have the opportunity to steal the lead and then eventually put G1 in another awkward position. Eco! Putting that heat wave to work. That's going to be a double kill and another 3 down for G1. And look, SSG wastes no time whatsoever. They have the ball once again.
7 seconds is going to be the difference here. Can G1 make this push happen? So you're looking for a big kill from Precision, but it's not going to be coming anytime soon. 77, 78. And now at this point, they can either just hold this, get a little bit more added time, and then end it, put a zip on it, and just shut this one down. And that is exactly what Space Station are going to do, is they dump it off in the middle of the field, and they tell G1, here, we'd love for you to go after this ball. We encourage you to go after this ball that's trapped in the middle of the open field. But you can't get too overzealous quite yet, though. You do need those players to try and circle around and pick up those kills. That's exactly what happens as Space Station managed to pick up that point. But boy, oh boy, G1 had control for a good portion of that game. But it just goes to show that you cannot count out Space Station, not by a long shot.
And it was the same thing we saw towards the end of that King of the Hill. Eventually, Space Station Gaming put G1 against the shot clock. And when that happens, you use the objective as bait, and you dare them to come to you just like a black hole, just sucking in the defense, and you make sure that you get the slays proper and then finish it out. Now we're going to what might be the final round here on Live Fire. G1 did a great job of scrapping away at that ball time, but eventually you have to slay out and hold the setup.
We'll see, of course, what Huss can do here, as he does manage to find one in front. It's going to be Pznguin. Easy kill for him there, as he's able to give up just only a few shields from that whole exchange. But you do have to start making that push forward toward the ball here, and that is just going to be an easy play ball. Bound knew exactly where the pressure was going to be coming from and decided to dump that off because he had teammates that were going to be circling around the ball down low as well. You could see one perched up on top of the tower, another one over toward, I believe that was going to be, I think that was toward Nest as well. So you got to just try and shut these players down wherever they are and just play your numbers, play around with one another. But he peeked out with just barely any health remaining there. It was just not maybe the best thing he could do, but he had the sniper, so I understand why he went for that one.
2 kills quickly going in favor of Space Station Gaming. G1 were trying to wrap that ball over toward the green side. Somehow they did get a split spawn, and Huss is going to try to do the same, but before he plays that ball, Eco having the awareness to cut him off, doesn't even worry about the kill. Make sure that that ball stays in play. That's a highly unselfish play by Eco. Forget the kill, keep the ball in play, and now you're talking about, what, 20 to 30 seconds worth of uncontested ball time based on the play Eco made. Save the ball. Who cares about the kill?
Yeah, it's really just all about the objective here, right? And that it is, again, those intangibles that oftentimes you can't quantify it. You don't know how to measure it, but you see it happen in front of you, and that is one of the reasons why, you know, like players like Eco, players like Stel, I mean, honestly, all of Space Station have just been so good for so long because they make those critical plays when it matters most. Now, we'll see what they do with this. They get the overshield yet again, and on top of that, too, they have a lot of players that are going to be reeling from this one. A force to play the ball here is not going to be the situation that G1 would have wanted to have happen, but it's a reality that they live in here. StelluR's just going to be on the prowl. He's got himself that green gun. He drains him down, and he's just going to play his life here while that player, Huss, figures out where the hell StelluR is going to be located. Just look how clean that was. He needed 2 in order to take him out there.
Yeah, you definitely wanted to see G1 take advantage of that ball not being played, especially because StelluR was able to get away with the overshield, but eventually they're able to force the play ball, grab a hold of overshield, and the game still in favor of Space Station Gaming. StelluR, though, sliding it over toward the A side. He was spotted. Huss has to cut him off and deal with them, but StelluR takes down Neuronical before going down himself. Now the rest of Space Station Gaming just sliding right past the grenades, chasing Huss down, not able to get away. Even with the Shroud, Precision plays that ball. We have another setup broken, and now ball's reset.
Yeah, but does give them the lead. A little bit of a lead. It's a fragile one, but it's one that they can at the very least work with, especially with Neuronical picking up a double kill like that. But Bound is going to answer back with a double of his own before Huss is going to hit him with a back whack. That's going to send 2 players down, and Eco is just waiting for Homie to come down the drop, and he ends up getting back whack there. So now, Precision waits this one out. He needs his shields to come back. He doesn't have quite the support here as the nades are just going to be peppering him on the push. He does have some teammates over toward the left side coming from Nest to just try and cut this one off here, and that works out beautifully for them as they manage to get that ball possession, and they're in a pretty solid spot back tower.
It's now the second time in a row Space Station Gaming end up getting broken, but don't get the opportunity to play the ball.
Yeah.
You rarely see mistakes like that, which are going to cost them. Now
Very rare.
at this point, every second of ball time that G1 get once again is now because they didn't play that ball. And again, now it's not the second time in the row that happens. Like, who am I to question SSG? But I'm saying they got to tighten it up. Otherwise, G1 are going to take this round and maybe the game.
And G1 gets themselves an overshield, Tony. So you're right. They could very well be right back into the action here. That's going to be a stick on the Bound. Another player toward dummies. You can see these guys just trying to go in for the challenge. Great heads-up play there as well. StelluR getting forced back by that grenade, allowing his teammates to go in there, clear that kill, and then get that tower possession. Now, you really just want to see Neuronical be the one front and center here. He's been front and center a lot in this series, and he's making a lot of great decisions. 2 players down as well for SSG is going to put G1 in a great spot.
3 down goes Space Station Gaming. Once again, G1 start to move into control. SSG spawning over toward the green side, and you see the pings already going in. G1 are very well aware of it. SSG going to send 2 players backpedaling over toward the sandbags, 2 players pushing over towards C. They're anticipating that G1 are anticipating their anticipation and trying to outsmart.
Too much anticipation, Tony. That's what I say. Anticipation across the board. That being said, though, the ball not played quite yet as it's going to be stuck in the middle of green there. That was going to come off of Eco with a body shot to the player that was trying to just push back and bring that ball forward. It's going to give Space Station an opportunity here. So the thing that we were being a little critical of Space Station before, not being able to play the ball in time, G1 instead opting, rather than to play the ball because they were over toward mud, they wanted to rotate that one and get a little selfish and a little greedy. And I think sometimes, right, in those situations, especially against SSG, maybe it might just be best to dump that ball and just try again.
Yeah, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Play the ball, guys. 75 to 53 points in counting for Space Station Gaming. G1s are the ones that have to make a play and have to break. Eco not able to get the kill, and that's going to cost Space Station Gaming heavily. Lucky the ball ends up being played, but now G1 have control.
Yeah, they have control, but again, it's always going to be really difficult, especially to come out of this one, this position here on the low side of the map with where G1 are going to be. Space Station need to find the response, and respond they most definitely do, taking out 1 player. But that's going to leave 2 members of both G1 and Space Station. Scratch that 3 down for SSG, but the ball's still not grabbed quite yet. It's actually going to be the overshield that's going to be prioritized here, and StelluR is going to get possession of it. Could spell doom and disaster for G1 if Neuronical and company aren't careful.
Yeah, the momentary 1v1 with both teams being 3 down, I'd rather have the overshield over the ball, because no matter where you move that ball, it may be toward the spawning players of the opposition, and that's exactly what you saw. Now, because of that, G1 ended up being 3 down, and once again, G1 now cursed not playing the ball, and this time it might just cost them the game.
Could very well be the case here. Now, we've seen G1 break this setup before. It came off of Precision just being really just ambitious and charging forward. They're not allowing that to happen again this time. You see actually Space Station putting bodies on the left side of the map, preventing that movement from happening. And with this nice little nerd spot that Pznguin found himself, you might as well just call it a wrap here, because it's going to be real difficult for them to just try and break this setup, especially with the snipe getting the cross like that. Only 1 point point remaining, and that is going to be a GG. Try as you might. Spacestation Gaming are just too damn good at this video game, and they managed to pick up a 3-1 victory over G1. It was a valiant effort, though, from the young squad, and I like what I saw from G1 here. A lot of high hopes, I would say, in group play for this squad. But again, you were going up against a mountain in Spacestation Gaming.
Yeah, and I don't want to be too hard on G1 right there. You know, I think they played amazing. That Empyrean CTF was great. They obviously were very well in that game 2 Slayer, where they only, a couple of kills away from taking the win, and just happened to take advantage of the 3 downs multiple times they were able to do. But even in that game right there, you were handed the game on a silver platter. There was a couple mistakes that SSG made that you could have taken advantage of, and ultimately you did it. We're talking about one play ball on your side could have been the difference of you winning that round and ultimately losing that game. And sadly, G1 weren't able to get.
I'm actually curious to know what the players were hoping to accomplish with that too, because I kind of understand the logic, right? You have a player over toward Nest, you're getting the protection. You think we can make this rotation happen toward green, and that maybe gives you that opening opportunity here. But it is a risky gambit to be able to pull off, especially against SSG, who just they're all over you all the time on the map. So again, credit to Spacestation Gaming for an incredible game for them. Also a credit to G1 for really showing that they do belong on that stage. They do belong to box with some of the best in the game, and I think there's a lot that they could take away from that one and be very happy about, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, G1 obviously are here for a reason. They're always in pool play. They've been doing it. They've been competitive with some of the best in the league and really kind of put themselves within that, I would say, tier 2 outside of the tier 1 being Spacestation, Optic, and FaZe. And now the question is, are you going to rise to the top of that tier 2, or are you going to drop down? Because a lot of teams have gotten better. Shopify has gotten better. Sentinels have gotten better. Now I want to see where G1 are. You've had this roster for quite some time. I want to see them elevate toward that top half of tier 2.
Yeah, I could not agree more, and I think that they are very much on the prowl and very capable of being able to do that. And I'm excited to see what G1 can do throughout the rest of this competition. I know this is most definitely not going to be the last time that we see them, but of course today does belong to Spacestation Gaming, and I believe, is he ready on stage? I think he is. All right, Blaze is ready on stage. He's got the man himself bound, ready to go. Blaze, what you got for me, brother?